Hello, IceCap fans inside the Civic Center in rainy Corner Brook, Newfoundland, Labrador. St. John's IceCaps play-by-play broadcaster Brian Rogers with the hockey prop, my long-time sidekick and color commentator Brendan McCarthy of the Telegram. Well, here we go, Bren. Game 1 of the Coleman's Cup being played at the Dome in Stephenville at 7:30 tonight. An hour John here, west of Corner Brook. A real good skate for the St. John's IceCaps this morning, and they prepare for the first game against the Marlies, who are out having their practice right now. But what did you see this morning?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a game day skate. It was a practice session to me, and I guess, you know, time's away. I don't know if time's away seems the right word, but I mean, there's a short period of time right now between now and Sunday, which is the final game in this series. After which, I think, you know, some decisions, roster decisions, are going to be made pretty quick here, and probably in Montreal as well, with less than a week before the start of the season. So, yeah, I think you're going to see as much of these guys and as possible, and all the guys. Everybody's going to get a chance to play sometimes in this series, and we saw at the end of practice here. I think that's one of the things we were looking for. The guys that were kind of called out that you knew that weren't going to be playing tonight. They're all veterans. They're all veterans. You know, I think with Beats and
Gabriel Dumont,
Christian Thomas, and
Bud Holloway.
Bud Holloway, that's right. Those guys, and you don't want to. No fans, Dave said, you know, doesn't want anybody feeling safe. But I guess they probably have the right to feel safe right there as much as anybody. I think the other interesting thing we saw was in that at least trying to get the line rushes. You can't read a whole lot into them right now because there's so many bodies. As we said, they're going to try to get everybody in, but they had McCarron and Sherback together. That was pretty interesting to me. Two big guys, two first-round draft choices together, two rookies. But it's interesting nonetheless. We'll see if that's going to play out in any way over the series and maybe even into the regular season.
Yeah, and the other was Danny Carr, who will not play tonight. But the number one line for Stefan Lefebvre's team tonight will have Michael McCarron down the middle with Nikita Sherback on the left wing and Martin Eisenschmidt, the German, out of Medicine Hat. The Tigers of the Western Hockey League on the right-hand side. So we'll see where that one goes. And then you've got young Anthony Laselli, who's just signed with the St. John's IceCaps. He'll be on a line out there playing alongside Timmy Bozon and Jeremy Gregoire. So there's some speed and some gifted scorers, at least in their junior careers for sure.
I think that, well, the thing about Laselli, and you see about it, and you talked about this, I think we talked about it yesterday as well, is he can scoot, he can skate. Well, this is going to be a pretty good skating team, front to back, I think. And he's a guy that, you know, I guess if they want to go in that vein of team within the organization, you can see why they signed him. Leading scorer for Victoriaville last year in the Quebec Junior Hockey League, 5th overall in the league. It's been, you know, it's not brand new to Sylvain Lefebvre. This camp, he was at the prospects development at the rookie camp as well, and that's where he gets signed in. But I guess he's not a big guy, but he can skate. And I think more than anything else, I mean, besides the youth of this team, and maybe sometimes it goes hand in hand, you know, young legs and fast feet. And it might, with this team, it's a good skating team. From what we've seen so far.
Yeah. The goaltending situation tonight, Eddie Pasquale, Zach Prucali, here we go. Benny Goss, the Mount Pro native on the outside looking in, but having a wonderful time here as we both had a chance to talk to Benny today, and Eddie's fired up. We'll hear from Eddie on our broadcast tonight from the Dome in Stephenville. Game 1 of the Coleman's Cup. We'll have the pregame show at 7. A drop of the puck, the Toronto Marlies and the St. John's IceCaps will be 7:30. But address what you saw, talk about the guys and how they feel.
I liked Eddie. I liked Eddie in practice. I thought he looked really well. He's feeling great. He had that hip problem, which required a second surgery. Again, we talked about that a little yesterday. But he says he's feeling great and he's looking for the opportunity. I guess what's going to be interesting, what plays out with the goaltending situation is when that goalie's cut in Montreal. And we think it's going to be Montreal, but we can't be sure. But there is going to be another goaltender coming down here, and obviously it's going to impact somebody down here. And it could be Eddie Pasquale, but he looks great. He had a good practice. Then Goss, I mean, and you can see he's happy to be here. You know, he was a backup for a game last year in the spring, when they needed one in an emergency backup, and back here because they wanted a third goaltender for camp for the time being. And he's really enjoying himself. He's at Cornell University up in Ontario right now, but he's really enjoying himself, and he's learning too. So that's a good story for him, and those are the sorts of things you like to see. You can't, as we say in the business, to hang your hat on when you come to a story, and it makes for a good name, Ben Goss.
And Benny won the early lottery. He's rooming with Edward Pasquale Esquire. So there you go.
Well, you better like country music.
Well, yeah, and like eat too, right?
Oh, but Eddie, I can tell Eddie
he looks great. He's in the best shape of his life, and he told me that too. I mean, after double surgery and everything he's gone through, Eddie looks to be in a groove right now. And like Brendan said, it will all hand out who's going to be here and who's not. We'd like to talk about the Toronto Marlies a little bit because there's a lot of fans from the Maple Leafs and the Marlies across Newfoundland, Labrador, the Western Hemisphere for sure. But we don't know a whole lot about this hockey club. They sent a whack of guys that got here yesterday, landed in Deer Lake in the afternoon. We looked at the roster this morning, and I got to be honest with you, I was just mind-boggled because I'm thinking, this isn't the team that I used to call.
And it won't be the team they're going to be calling this year as well, because as they face each other a lot, they're going to be playing a dozen times in the season. Which you see in the Coleman's Cup. That is the Marlies practice behind us now. But there's a lot of guys that are going to probably end up, and I'm not saying boom, but they're going to be cut or in the ECHL. There were others here earlier in this camp. They arrived yesterday, but after the Leafs lost last night, the big Leafs lost last night, they took 5 guys back up.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means in Toronto, but it did mean a kind of a thinner or different lineup here. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of names that we don't know. One does stick out for you. That's Zach Bell, was born in St. John's, the son of Bruce Bell, the son of St. John's Maple Leafs defenseman, and he's signed by the Marlies. And you might remember he had a little taste of the St. John's IceCaps and went to Ontario, the ECHL, then went back to junior to play for over 8 years. Now he's signed by the Marlies to the contract. So he's the one name that I really recognize. A couple of others, but no, these names you're going to be calling during this series, but a lot of them you won't be calling for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So there you have it. It's game 4 of the St. John's IceCaps training camp, and it's game 1 of the Coleman's Cup from the Dome in Stephenville, just an hour west of here on a rainy Thursday, pardon me. I don't know what day it is, Brent, here in Western Newfoundland. For the Hockey Pop, Brendan McCarthy, I'm Brian Rogers. Don't forget to tune in tonight, 9:30 CJY, St. John's. This is Newfoundland Labrador for the IceCaps Live pregame show at 7. Drop of the puck 7:30, and of course on the website at www.stjohnsIcecaps.com. Thanks for tuning in today. It's fun to do this. Want to thank Geneva Hayward for the excellent, steady craftsmanship of doing this thing on Up Periscope, Down Periscope, and goodbye from Cornerbrook. We'll talk to you tomorrow.